Hey future mommies, so it's Alexa again here. Today I'm actually going to talk about a different topic other than trying to conceive. I decided the other day that, I think this channel should be more than just baby stuff. Obviously I'm not pregnant yet, so I feel like, there might be some times that I talk about my life in general. I might try to post story times. I don't really have a whole lot of stories to tell. I mean, I've had some funny stories in my life, but I don't know if it's like Jessie Smiles or Gabby Hanna or some of these other YouTubers type story times. Like theirs are just out of this world. I don't have any crazy ones. But I decided today I am actually going to post about my experience in an MLM called Amway and or LTD, which is Leadership Team Development Group. So the reason I'm posting this is because there is a awesome YouTuber that I watched the other day. Her name is SarahGirl. I will link her down in the description if I can figure out how to do that because I'm fairly new to YouTube. But she is amazing. I actually commented on her video the other night. She responded. So Sarah, girl, I will email you or Instagram message you because we have got a lot to catch up on. Because your face looks so familiar when I was watching this video. And I feel like we've met at least once or twice before. We were part of FPC. So, and I'll kind of explain a little bit more. They have their own little style of lingo. And, I'll get into that later. But girl, I will message you. We have got a lot to catch up on, and we might even have to do a straight phone call because it might be too much to type. So anyway, this is probably going to be a long video. It was a lot. So I might even make it 2 parts because I know uploading long videos to YouTube takes forever. But we'll see how it goes. So I'm just going to talk. I'm on my way home right now as per usual because, I like to do my videos in the car. So here we go. Let's get started. My experience in Amway and LTD. So my husband and I met up with, I don't really want to say names. Let's just say both of the people that we spoke with and our sponsors. Our sponsors' first name started with a C. And both of our, mentors, I don't really remember all the lingo at this point, but both of our mentors started with R. And my husband worked for AT&T for a long time, and he was getting to the point where he was in sales. He wasn't happy with his job, and he was just feeling, depressed is a good way to, put it. He was very unhappy coming home. He didn't really even want to hang out when he would come home because he still, even when he was away from his office, he still had to work. Being a salesman, your job's never really over. You don't get weekends off. You don't get holidays, all this kind of stuff. So he was always stressed, like 90% of the time. And he had voiced to me one time, this was back in, we officially joined Amway in October of 2018. So in July or August, he had just been kind of venting to me, there's got to be something more to life. Like, that this can't be the life that we're going to live the rest of our lives. I want to do something different. I want to, be happy and do something to where I want to spend time with our kids when we start having children. And, sales is just not it. I'm just so unhappy. So we went kind of back and forth with that for a while. Well, one day he came home from work and I had just gotten out of the shower. I will remember this day until the day I die. I was in the shower. He had gotten home. I was brushing my hair and he comes in my bathroom and says, "Hey, so we're going to meet a guy this weekend." I'm like, "Okay, is that all you're going to tell me?" And he's like, "Well, I don't really know much about it, but he had met our sponsor, whose name started with a C, and gotten close with him and been talking to him for a long time and whatever." So he said, "Well, C has suggested that if we're interested to meet this guy, R, at Panera in Atlanta on Saturday and just kind of talk to him about some stuff." And I'm like, "All right, I guess, can you give me some background?" And he's like, "Well, first things first, he retired at 35 or 29. I'm sorry. He retired at 29 years old." And of course, I'm intrigued and I'm like, "How did this happen?" He's like, "I don't know. We're going to find out." So Saturday afternoon comes, and of course, these people know how to play it. They know how to talk. They try to act interested in you. So he was, of course, pulling the whole, well, let me get to know them first. So he asked me a bunch of questions, asked me about my work life, where I grew up, what my childhood was like, all this basically bullshit, pretty much, acting like he cared and all this just ridiculousness. He did the same thing for Andrew. And it should have been a red flag when, like Sarah said, with these people, when you first meet them, they don't tell you what they do. They don't explain exactly what it is. They don't tell you it's Amway, because they know as soon as they do, people are going to flee. So they're sneaky little bastards with that. So of course, Andrew's unhappy, my husband's unhappy, and I'm in an awkward position because I'm the wife of this man. I've been with him for 11 years. I've been married to him for 3 or 4 years at this point. I wanted him to be happy. So at that point, I was willing to do anything to help him and to help him feel happy. And he was feeling really, really good after the meeting. I wasn't real thrilled about it, but I wasn't completely against it. I guess that was just me being naive and just wanting so badly to make my husband happy because he wanted this so badly. So we did it. We officially became members in October of 2018, and we had our first conference. Thankfully, it was in Atlanta in November of that year. So first couple weeks started out, they were okay. They did the whole, okay, in order to, grow your business, you have to start buying your own products. So we made our own Ditto. We started buying our products. First red flag. You are not allowed to ever, for any circumstance, use any type of different water, different makeup, different snacks, anything. You have got to use your own products, which I get to an extent, but I'll put it this way. At a later conference, there was a girl that was very new in the business. It was her very, 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 very first conference ever. She was still learning everything. She had a Dasani, and basically chewed her ass out for it. Basically saying, you're in your own business. Why are you not buying your own water? In his own passive aggressive way, I guess. But it was still rude. Like, this girl's new in the business. Cut her some slack. Anyway, that's just like a whole nother story. I have so many stories that I could tell you guys about this stupid ass business. Please excuse my French. I have a lot of anger towards this. And again, that's why I said it'll probably make a 2-parter. This is already going into 8 minutes, and I haven't even begun to cover the surface of this. And Sarah will know exactly what I'm talking about. Girl, I cannot wait to hear some of your stuff. So anyway, so we joined in October 2018, joined in November, or went to our first conference in November 2018, and we officially met his wife. And they have this really big thing I've noticed of these people being your best friends. Like, I'd never even met this woman, but male R was telling my husband that she was so excited to meet me. We're going to be best friends, blah, blah, blah. That weirded me out a little bit. You can't be best friends with somebody you don't really know. You don't know their personality. You don't know their likes. You don't know their dislikes. You don't know, their opinions on religion, politics, all that kind of stuff. I just feel like you have to get to know somebody before you immediately jump into being like their best friend. That should have been another red flag. But again, I ignored it. So I met her, and something just felt off. It just didn't feel right. You know how when you meet somebody and you just get kind of like a ugh feeling? That's how it felt. And the one thing that bothered me a lot about this business, probably one of the most annoying things that bugged me about this business, is you had to treat your upline like royalty. That crap annoyed the hell out of me. And that reminds me, there'll be another story later. I don't know if it'll be in this video or if it'll be in part 2. But this crap pissed me off. Our first conference. We're there, getting to know everybody, meeting people. And I will say, some of the people in our group were very sweet people. I do miss them. I hate that we couldn't associate with our cross line. I couldn't even get phone numbers. I clicked with one girl from our cross line, and I have to say I'm going to be going off and on because there's just so much. So I might be not really avoiding, but I might be changing of subjects every now and then because there's just so much. But I'm going to use this as an example. I couldn't even really feel like I could get close with some people because I couldn't have phone numbers. I could only talk to them through the messaging system. Another huge red flag. I got very close with a girl immediately in my, I guess she was technically in my downline. I don't really know. But crossline and downline, I couldn't, like, I wanted to get this girl's phone number and, you know, text her like normal friends do. No, that's not allowed. I was not allowed to get her phone number. I wasn't allowed to add her on Facebook. I could only talk to her through Messenger. Red flag number 2, huge red flag. So anyway, we're at this first conference. You know, my husband and I are pretty nervous. You know, we're trying to get to know everybody. So we go to eat before the next session. And we were expected, first of all, our upline was late coming to dinner, by the way. So we were expected to order their food. And let me tell you, these people were so particular. It was so annoying. They had to have their burger the right way. She had to have her meal the right way. They had to have a certain drink, and if you got it wrong, they weren't nasty about it, but they were very passive aggressive about it. Again, that's a whole nother story. So, first conference, besides all of that, like I said, these little, what they like to call nuggets, that's what I'll refer to. These little nuggets that kept popping up in my head as I'm thinking about this, like, as this is happening, and my sponsor C, our sponsor C and my husband are like frantically trying to make sure their orders are right and frantically making sure everything is okay, was baffling to me. Like, we don't know these people. Why are we making orders for them and then feeling bad if it's wrong? We don't know them. We just met them. Whatever. Again, I let it go because this was new. I thought maybe we just hadn't gotten to know them yet, so I let it slide. So overall, the conference was actually pretty good. You know, I did thoroughly enjoy it. You know, I had my little notebook. I took notes. And things seemingly went okay. We were, you know, we had our little sessions every, you know, once a week where R&R would call us and we'd have a call. Things started going okay. Well, then we noticed that the phone calls that they would have with us would start to get later and later and later and later, sometimes into the early hours of the morning. So, red flag number 3. That was horribly annoying for me. All of this was annoying. All of this was super irritating and frustrating, but this was one of the big ones that really pissed me off as well. First of all, my husband and I live in Atlanta. They are in Chicago. I get that there's a time difference, but if you want to try to make it work with your team, you need to understand that there's other people that live in different states. You need to come to a consensus to where it's easy for everybody. And my husband and I work full time. I have to be at work at 7:30 a.m. every morning, which means in order to commute, because I commute 45 minutes, you guys know this, I've said this in my past videos, I have to be up by 5 to make sure I can get there so I don't hit traffic. So at one point, they were having us talk to them at midnight, our time, and expecting me to wake up at 5. No, bitch. No. So that shit got tired. I got tired of that shit really quick, and that's a big reason a lot of the time my husband and I fought. See, I can't even talk because I'm getting so annoyed and so frustrated. So that caused a lot of arguments at our house because I would come home from a long day of work, and it really got bad with the info sessions because they started doing info sessions via webcam once a week. So every Tuesday night I would get home, I would have a hard day at work, I would still cook dinner, you know, I would be doing all these things, and then the info sessions would start at 9 p.m. and sometimes go till as late as 1 a.m. in the morning. I got so tired of that so quickly. So I would dread Tuesday nights, absolutely dread it. And I would try so hard to get out of it. You know, I would say, I don't feel well. I don't want to do it. This is ridiculous. And it just, with my husband, it was through one ear and out the other. Now, just FYI, thankfully he did quit. I quit in July of 2019. He quit in November. So the end of this does have a good story. Like this ends okay. My husband's still not in this crazy business. So anyway, I'm over-tracking a little bit. I'm getting too ahead of myself. So backtracking. So we had our first conference in November of 2018. You know, things seemed okay. Whatever, you know, Christmas came, all that kind of stuff. They still seemed all right for the most part. You know, we're ordering our products. We're using our products. Well, then come January of last year, you know, they're starting to get a little bit more, putting a little bit more emphasis on, you know, going out and talking to people. You know, getting our story down, which is what they like to call it, which is basically a 5 or 6 word sentence, or however many word sentence, about what you're doing in your life. And, you know, you've got these awesome mentors, and basically just bullshitting people, pretty much coming up with your story. And again, the feelings, I would try to push them really far back in my head and not think about it, but I just started feeling more and more and more uneasy about this. But again, my husband seemed really happy. You know, he was getting along with R, he was getting close with our sponsor C. So it just, he seemed so happy, and I did not want to be that wife that was just like, well, I'm quitting. I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore. So I put up a front for like the last 5 or 6 months I was in business. I think in February or March of last year is when I was like, I'm not happy with this. I'm sorry, April or May, most likely, was when I was really starting to feel uncomfortable and unhappy. So the months go on, you know, they're slowly teaching us, we're learning all this kind of stuff. One time in particular, which was another red flag number 4, there was a time last February or March, I ended up getting the flu and was really sick. I had 101 fever, and I just felt awful. So obviously, I work in healthcare. I work in a clinic and in Atlanta, and I cannot, we have been told it is a policy at my work to make sure I do not go into work if I'm sick. Obviously, can't do that. You have the flu, I had chills, fever, whatever. So there was one day I was starting to feel better. My fever was still like 99 or 100. And I had to run out and get some more cough medicine. My husband wasn't home, and my parents weren't available to go get it for me. So I ran up to the CVS, got my cough medicine, and came back home. R&R were very adamant about getting out there and talking to people no matter what the circumstance. No matter if you were sick, no matter if you had something else going on, they didn't care. They expected you to be out there every single day, whether it was in the morning, in the afternoon, in the late evening. You were out there talking to people and getting your story out there and getting people in your business. They didn't care. So Sarah actually touches on this as well. She had some severe hair loss on the back of her head here, and she had to go get it checked out by a doctor. Go watch her video. You'll see what that, you know, what's going on with that. So she can understand the situation I'm getting ready to tell you guys. So Rana would text me at least once or twice a week and check in and see how things were going, if I'm doing my reading, if I'm doing my audios, just annoying crap. And she texted me and was like, you know, how are things going? I heard you're not feeling well. What, you know, how is everything going? Are you, you know, you out talking to people? And I texted her back and said, you know, Rana, I actually have 103 fever. The doctor told me to just stay at home. The only reason I really came out today was to pick up some medicine. And so I'm going to go home and rest. And she's like, passive aggressive as hell, y'all. I wish I still had that text message. I should have saved it, but I didn't, because I just wanted nothing to do with her after I quit. I didn't want her in my messages. I didn't want her in my phone, period. So I deleted all contact with her. But if I remember correctly, the message said, yeah, you know, I get that. I get that you're not feeling well, but, you know, it's still really important for you to get out there. You know, I actually was running 102 fever yesterday, but I still went to the info session. Bitch. Okay, 1, you have 102 fever, and she said she was sick, by the way, pretty much all that whole week. What the hell? Who the hell do you think you are? Going out with 102 fever if you're sick and infecting everybody in that building. Are you stupid? First of all. Second of all, what right do you have? How dare you basically send me a passive aggressive message saying, oh, well, I really don't give a shit if you're sick or not. You need to be out there talking to your people, growing business and making me money. And I was obviously upset, and I'm the kind of person that if I'm pissed, you can see it on my face. I will admit it. You can see it on my face, and if you ask me about it, you better believe I'm telling you. So my husband comes home that day, and I'm furious. Like, I am fuming. And I'm like, what do these people expect me to do? And he didn't necessarily take their side. He just kind of was like, as soon as you're feeling better, just go ahead and get out there and make up for the days that you've lost. But it's like, I'm so sorry that I don't care about my business enough. If I have a 102-degree fever and my doctor tells me to stay home, I'm staying home. And I felt like crap for 3 or 4 days. I didn't go back to work. I think I called out of work that Wednesday. So that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I stayed my ass in bed and in home, letting myself rest because I had the flu. Sorry. It still angers me. But, like, what the hell, woman? What do you, like... Woosah. Okay. So, that was red flag number 4. So, I'm going to go ahead and stop this here. I'm at 21 minutes, and I'm actually close to my in-laws, so I hate to cut you guys off at, like, kind of getting into the heated stuff. I will post a second video either tonight or tomorrow. Like I said, SarahGirl, I cannot wait to speak to you. I will try to link your video in the description if I can figure out how to do that. But guys, go watch her. She is amazing. I feel like I've met her before. Like I said, her face looks so familiar, so I'm really excited to speak with her. Go watch her videos. She will give you some awesome insight as far as MLMs and what to expect. And she's just fantastic, and I cannot wait to meet her. I really wish I could make a trip out to Chicago to see her. We have to figure out something because we have got to talk ASAP. So I'll talk to you guys later, and I hope you guys have had a great Thursday. I will be posting another trying to conceive video at some point. I think I'm on like day 5 or 6 past ovulation. I don't think I'm pregnant, but we'll see. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon. Bye.